90-day delay and then several other delays. I'm contemplating a motion to refer it back, but wanted to ask your thoughts on that.
Yeah, and colleagues, I've given each person here both a written statement and a policy effective as of this day concerning our procedures for considering certain permit applications. Today, I'm circulating to City Council some policies that affect high-density development where there are residential or residential collector streets. These procedures do not target one particular project. They use an ordinance which has been in effect for 40 years. They will require more intensive analysis of a carefully defined type of projects that could have adverse traffic impacts. They do rely on judgment by the city engineer. This is nothing new. For decades, the city engineer's judgment has come into play on a wide variety of matters. This is nothing new. The approval of most site plans will include the approval of curb cuts with no additional analysis as is customary in the city. That's most site plans. Our intention is not to slow growth or create a new cottage industry for traffic engineers for everything built in the city of Houston. We do identify certain types of projects that will come under greater scrutiny. We call these interim procedures because we expect a final regulation or an ordinance, if necessary, will be adopted after numerous public stakeholder meetings, which began earlier this year and will continue at least through July 1. Then, after the administration formulates its position within the next month, there'll be more hearings before council committees and the full planning commission. And as typically the case, we and members of City Council and the administration will consider comments at every meeting and at every hearing, and we may find ways to improve a proposed rule or regulation or ordinance. They do take into account the current procedures, the interim procedures that we are announcing today, the comments received in numerous stakeholder meetings we've already had, and I applaud the people who've been in meetings where we've had 50 or more people looking at drafts of ordinances. Thank the council members in particular who've attended those long sessions. I'm asking the city staff to make sure that what I say here, which is a little bit more formal, is posted on YouTube. So as in the case of the Old Sixth Ward, there's nobody paraphrasing what the administration's position is, and everybody knows exactly what it is from my mouth, having consulted with a number of people around this table and in the administration in advance. 2 questions in. How do the interim procedures affect the administration's position concerning the proposed development at 1717 Bissonnette? First, they do not target one project, as I say. They're based on a 40-year ordinance, and we don't target individual projects. That would be wrong. We look at categories, and we apply rules across the city. We have not agreed with the developers of that project for any particular proposal that they've made. Using the procedures we have under existing ordinances, we do not reduce the options that the city has to regulate traffic impacts. By using existing authority rather than new ordinances, we weaken any legal challenges to the city's protection of public interest. That is, we have a stronger legal basis. And for this reason, we support the referral back of the draft ordinance to the administration. Various proposals show that we've made some progress on this development, but there's no conclusion or final agreement. As I said to the citizens who appeared here before us, the individuals have a right to build and develop on an existing multifamily property, and the administration does have concern, as it is expressed, about traffic impacts of areas that are already congested. Neither the existing nor proposed ordinances impose height restrictions. Some properties are deed restricted on height. Some city rules, such as building codes dealing with structural engineering and fire safety codes, do specify requirements for buildings of various heights. but the city doesn't use fire safety regulations as a subterfuge to accomplish some other purpose. That would not be honest, and that would not be something this administration would ever do. We have strengthened the regulation of fire safety for high-rise structures, certainly. And this is important. State law limits the city's ability to apply broadly based height restrictions on any particular project that is applied for initial permit. That's clear. And there are other restrictions on our ability to regulate that are very significant, just on the basis of something not related to public safety and traffic. Whether one agrees or not with this law, which is designed by the legislature to create predictable rules for buyers and sellers, we cannot ignore state law. The second question is the city proposing new regulations which significantly increase the uncertainty concerning development within the city of Houston? The answer is no. We're not altering powers we've had since 1968. We're adopting interim procedures to clarify how the powers will be used. None of these procedures should affect development proposed on major thoroughfares or in non-residential areas or those with only modest increases in density from existing uses. And by adopting these procedures, we give all stakeholders, including neighborhood groups and people who build new residences for our consumers, the ability to both attend stakeholder meetings and go to public hearing and espouse any position they want concerning what our final rule should be. Houston is a growing city, and as more people live closer to employment centers, we'll face some new challenges. Certainly, we want people to have choices about where they live, including close to employment centers. That's something that there's a widespread consensus in this community. At the same time, as that development proceeds, we don't want to have a situation in any place where there is gridlock on the streets, and so that people move away because there's too much traffic. That's a balance, and it's always going to be a balance. Many Houstonians want to live closer to civic amenities such as a medical center and downtown arts district, and we encourage that. Because of the high degree of development along existing right-of-ways, we must manage traffic, though, different than we have in the past, and we need to do so in a cost-effective manner with balance. That concludes my statement. So, Councilmember Clutterbuck, I'm sorry it took so long, but you know and I know that sometimes the cliche or shorthand is not the full story. That's the purpose and intent of what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to refer this back to the administration, and after the second, I'd like to discussion.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Khan.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I have comments not on the